Free myself from crack pottery. I stopped playing the world lottery. I let go, now I know all the fun that's in my soul. All my dreams are waiting for me to come true. Me to come true. Superstition is behind me. Nincompooperi can't find me. I let go, now I know all the fun that's in my soul. All my dreams are waiting for me to come true. From it, do it, to it, through it, on the run as the one. I am fun that's never done. From it, to it, through it, on the run as the one. I am fun that's never done. All my dreams are waiting for me to come true. My dreams are waiting for me to come through. My dreams are waiting. All my dreams are waiting to come true. All my dreams, I got dreams. All my dreams are waiting, waiting for me to come true. Well, my dreams are waiting for me to come true. All my dreams are waiting for me to come true. Me to come true. Well, I'm driving down the road, engine's running fine. If you get off my bumper, I could have some peace of mind. Right. Taking in the scene, never been here before. Hey, go on around me. That's all right. Go, man, go. Fun to run, fun to drive. Come on, help us keep the fun alive. Come on, we got to learn to share the space. It don't have to be a rat race. So share the road. Ease up on the gas. Take it easy. You know, driving right off of my bumper won't get you there faster. So share the road. We're all going someplace. Here's the thing. The highway's just a state of mind in time and space. Well, we're on our way to Bellevue. On the 405, buying a Mercedes. He's driving across the line. He's roaring like a lion, but I was a gazelle. Busy on his cell phone. What? Well. Fun to run, fun to drive. Come on, help us keep the fun alive. Come on, we got to learn to share the space. It don't have to be a rat race. So share the road. Ease up on the gas. You know, driving right off of my bumper won't get you there faster. So share the road. We're all going someplace. And here is again. The highway's just a state of mind in time and space. Well, we're driving in the country, tractor in our way. Hey there, Mr. Farmer, have a beautiful day. Daddy on her hog, Larry on his Schwinn, Lola in her Mustang, slows down to let him in. Thanks, Lola. Beep, 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 yeah. Share the road. So, here we are on planet Earth, looking for mirth, maybe rebirth. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's rough. I'm here to learn stuff. God made Earth as a big classroom. Food, water, air, and a sun and a moon. Put us all down here in the buff. We're here to learn stuff. We're here to interact with other human beings and
Welcome to the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. We are a vibrant, inclusive, and spiritual community that seeks to live intentionally, love unconditionally, and see God in all people and in all faiths. We believe the work we do in prayer and in the community creates a world that works for all cultures, races, orientations, and faiths. For over 60 years, we have practiced thinking globally and acting locally to help awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Annually, hundreds of people actively participate in our services, classes, events, and in our Spanish-speaking ministry. and we are training the next generation of spiritual leadership in our ministerial school. In the last few years, because of apparent divisions politically and socially, and because of threats to basic human rights, we have magnified our application of Science of Mind principles with engagement and compassionate action in the greater Napa Valley community. Our members have participated in women's marches, pride events, and we have hosted speakers on racial issues. We have empowered and mentored diverse leaders in our community and given scholarships to diverse ministerial students. We have donated over 4,000 pounds of food to our local food bank. Our spiritual director, Reverend Jay Lang, has facilitated an interfaith leadership group to hold public prayer vigils and 9/11 commemorations in participation with Jews, Muslims, and Christians. We have fostered the creation of a beloved community in the larger Napa Valley area by honoring community heroes at events and tithing to and partnering with a dozen different nonprofits that share our vision. Together, we've created a Martin Luther King Day of Service where over 1,200 participated in community service annually. The leadership of our parent organization, the Centers for Spiritual Living, headquartered in Golden, Colorado, recognized our community for all of the outstanding, compassionate work we've been doing over the last few years with the 2022 Meritorious Community Award. As we move forward to do this work of the heart, to awaken the world to its spiritual magnificence, will you join us as we continue to ascend to new heights and create a world that works for everyone?
Good morning, everybody. We just thought we'd start with that video because it's a video that Shauna created for the gratitude celebration, and not everybody was able to see it on that day. So we just want to keep playing that for a few weeks to make sure we cycle through and have the chance to see what we are doing. So welcome, everybody. If this happens to be your first time with us, whether online or here in person, a special welcome to you, but a welcome to all people today. So thank you for being with us today. I'm Reverend Jay Lang, the spiritual director here, and it's every Sunday, I'm so grateful after the pandemic when we couldn't meet at all, and now that we're able to meet, just to see everybody's shining eyes and shining faces. So glad to have you here. And we'd like to start with a little music. Open us up, please.
Y'all want to stand up or sit down?
Let's stand.
Okay.
Let's get in the groove.
Just one time.
And it's really hard to walk sitting down. We're going to walk in our in place so we don't bump into the chair in front of us. You can do that.
Let's take a deep breath.
Walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss. 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 And walking in the bliss, walking. We are one. We are one.
again. We are one. We are one. Yeah. So we are one. Walking in the bliss. 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 We are one. We walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss.
How beautiful. You can be seated now. So Narayan Janet, I just love that song because I don't know about you, but I was even hearing it at the beginning when you were warming up, and it stayed with me, and it stayed. So this is one of those that stays with you during the day, I hope. Walking in the bliss. So thank you so much. And I want to also welcome our production team today, our ushers and greeters, all the people that are setting up things outside. It's great to have a robust volunteer people in service. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to acknowledge all those people online. I'm so sorry about last week. If you tried to be with us online, everything seemed to be against us getting that done last week for many reasons, but we had it all repaired and worked with Comcast, and we're ready to go. So hopefully you can see us loud and clear. Didn't give up on us just yet. So welcome. Thank you for being here today. And it's good to have everybody here today. We like to begin our service with saying our vision and mission statement. So if you'll look online or on your screen and read with me. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. It's a glorious affirmation this morning to know this truth and know that which is unfolding in us is this vision and mission. So thank you for being a part of that. Before we begin the rest of our service, I just wanted to give a few announcements. First of all, this month is the Latinx, and Hispanic Heritage Month. And there's still the groups that used to do many activities are still haven't started those activities just yet because we're still in this time of post-pandemic. But I do want to say that there are many things you can do on your own to honor this heritage. And one is right here in downtown. There's a number of art pieces that are really delightful. This one was created by Jose Charles, and it's right up here. If you just walk down what was Brown Street by Coles, by the 9/11 Memorial, and keep going, you'll run into this mural here. And what's great about this mural is it's meant to be the celebration of Latino and Latinx history here. But there's a plaque below that describes all the people. So you may not know all of them, but there's a great place, and you can, get your phone out, if you don't know them and why they're honored there, just to look them up. And then also down on Main Street, just around the corner, there's a statue of Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta. And it's up on the second story above an awning, so you have to look out for it between 2nd and 3rd Street. And of course, they did so much for the farm labor movement, including a lot of people here in Napa Valley. So it's great to have that as a memorial of their work that they did. And finally, the other one that I've seen recently just got painted. I don't know if you've seen this. It's on Soskel, on a building there near First and Soskel there. It's just a beautiful mural. I've just seen it kind of driving by, but I thought, this would be a good time to go just walk over there and see it in more detail. It's just a beautiful mural done by Morgan Bricca, and just illustrating the Latinos that have done so much in our vineyards and developed our prosperity that's here in the valley. So we're so grateful. So just to take a few moments to do that, I would really encourage you to do that and to honor and celebrate Latino history here in Napa. And then also, many of you have seen these cards. They're available. There are some in the lobby if you didn't get those. They're called cards of intention. And the idea is to imagine or predict how much you'll be given in 2023, and to put that on a card of your intention. And that way we, the board, and I can kind of predict how we can use your money in a wise way, a wise use of your money in the future budget for 2023. In truth, we appreciate all the ways that you give to us, either through virtual ways or automatic giving or giving here on Sundays or mailing checks. So we appreciate it. It's not a requirement of giving, this card of intention. It's just one way to make your giving more intentional also. So thank you for considering this in prayer. And I want to let you know that since we started a few weeks ago, we've had 13 cards returned. And so I have a little mural here, a little graphic of, imagine when we started, we had a deflated balloon. The balloon is obviously our thing. So we needed to get some air into it. When we had the gratitude celebration, we managed to get some air into it. And now it's risen up. We have $39,800 of pledges. So we're rising on up. So let's give that. So yeah, it's definitely a celebration. And we'll continue to mark it each week as we move higher and higher above the valley floor. I don't know if you've ever taken a hot air balloon, but it's a beautiful sight to be able to see the vineyards from a distance. And then the first Sunday of the month, I'm going to start a new thing where I know Sundays can be busy for me. A lot of people are asking me a lot of questions. So on the first Sundays, I'm going to really take some time just to be out in the courtyard and sit down in chairs right behind me, so to speak, and to talk about life, about celebrations, about challenges you might have, or extension of the talk. If you want to talk about what the service was or what your dreams of the center are. What I ask is that we're not going to talk about politics, though. We're not going to talk about the weather. We're not even going to talk about sports. So, yeah, right. Really, we're not. I will steer that away. So this is to be an intentional conversation. So join me out there starting about noon. We'll be out there. And then also next Sunday is our Return the Green Bags Day. Janice is here, and if you need green bags, she'll always give you as many green bags as you want. We had to postpone the little contest we had, and the contest was, if you bring in at least 500 pounds of food, I will change my hair to green. I will dye it green. Now, I'm going to drop that a little bit. I'm going to make it 400 pounds. So give you a shot. I'll let you know that there's already been food coming in. We're already almost 100 pounds. So we don't have far to go. But as somebody said, bring the cans in, right? You need help getting them out of the car, somebody will help you do that. So you can drop them off this week anytime in the office or on Sunday. And we'll tally it up. And then the following Sunday, which would be the 16th, then that's when we'll decide whether my hair will be green or not. So, and then next Sunday we have a special guest, Lori Jones, and this example. Do you know her?
I've seen her.
Okay.
Live your life.
And then on the 30th, at the end of this month, our own Bodie will be doing a sound healing at 1 o'clock. So there's time he'll be the musician in the morning, and then we'll have time to go get lunch. And and come back and be comfortably in the sanctuary here. And we have room for probably about 60 people. We're already selling tickets. So if you want to be a part of this, I would encourage you to go ahead and buy tickets as soon as you make sure it's free, if your schedule is free. Yes, question? I think only about an hour and a half at the most. Good question. Yeah. So that'll be fun to be a part of. It's $35 now, but $40 the day of the event. And there may or may not be tickets left on the day of the event on top of that. That information is on our website to get that information about tickets there. And then we're also seeking youth volunteers to lead activities. This would be, you wouldn't have to be every Sunday, but we're asking people to 1 or 2 Sundays a month to read a book, to and then do an art activity with them or something like that. We'll have all of that set up for you. You'll know it a week ahead of time, so you'll know what book you're reading and what your art activity will be, or perhaps it's a game you play with them. So it'll all be set up for you, but we are going to be relaunching our youth. We're also looking for more ushers, what we're calling community ambassadors and other things. So you can sign up at the welcome table today if you're interested in doing that. Okay. And then finally, to know that we're here for you in prayer. In all ways, whether you submit those prayer requests online in the lobby or you stay after the service and pray with a practitioner, and just be present with that, to take some moment to have a one-on-one prayer with one of our practitioners after the service. And before we begin, I realize there's one announcement I forgot about, as there wasn't a slide for it. So on October 30th, it is the day before Halloween. And so sometimes we do a dress up day, not necessarily costume day, but a dress up day. And Mary and I were talking about, I thought it would be fun on that day to come, like we're in the post-pandemic time. I know COVID's still around, but we're past the pandemic part of COVID, and come as some celebration of being past the pandemic. In other words, dress as some insight or wisdom or some superpower that you've gained over that time. Or perhaps you want to just come in your pajamas because you enjoyed being in your pajamas so much. Or perhaps you want to dress up to the nines because you don't get to dress up very often, the full, whatever that is. So it's a freedom to dress how you want, but it's related something to as we're coming out of this time as the pandemic. So that's on October 30th. I'll remind you of that as well. And now we'll begin the sacred part of our service.
I am a bubble, make me the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh, make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea.
So, welcome. Wow, there's a lot more of you here than there was a few minutes ago. So, I just want to give a blessing to each and every one of you today, and just thankful that for this beautiful sunshine that we have, this beautiful, gorgeous weather, and this place of spirituality that we can come and be together and share our thoughts and share our compassion with each other. And so I just give thanks for this day, for every word that is spoken here today, for every song that is sung, and every heart that is present in this room and online, and all of those praying around the world at the same time. So I give thanks for this, and I call for just a minute or two to settle into that knowingness that God is everywhere present right now. And so taking that deep breath in and knowing that all is well, just ground yourself in knowing that this life is a good life. So I have a few insights for you today about my life. I have been in this particular church since 2000. So that's 22 years. And I have been on a spiritual path, I think, pretty much all my life. But one thing that holds me to the core of who I am, that I started probably in 1970, was a journal. And this journals, and I've got stacks of them, has been so important to me because we're, as a practitioner and as a religious scientist, we look outside and look for the good and feel the good. But sometimes we fall into that trap of the kind of the nest of our own negative thinking, and we can't get out of it. And so I found myself there this week, knowing that I was going to be here today to pump you up, right? And I thought, geez, what has my life been? You know, it's like, well, what have I been doing? So I went through my journal for just last year, and I started realizing, whoa, I've really done a lot. I have done a lot. And it really made me feel empowered to know that my life isn't about all this external chaos going on. And another thing I realized, that the external chaos going on, I was feeding. And you know what we say, whatever you feed grows. And it's been growing in me. And so I made that switch, knock it off, Diana, and start feeling the right thing, looking for the right stuff. So I just want to encourage each and every one of you to bless who you are right where you are right now, and know that your journey is ongoing, and it's never going to stop having those weird quirks in the road. As Janet used to say, you fall down the hole in the street and you find another street to walk down finally. So believe me, it is true. And Reverend Jay gave me a nice hug today, which I needed. And we can reach out to each other and get hugs too. So with that in mind, here's a quote that's just coming out of my head right now. And that is, I live my life with courage and gratefulness for all the good things that I see in my life. And so it is.
make me see I am a bubble. Make me the sea, make me the sea, make me the sea, make me the sea, make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We'll keep going.
Okay. We picked this one just for your talk. Well, we always pick the one for your talk, but especially this one. When I look out on the ocean, I see, I'm just a bubble on the sea, on the infinite sea. When I look inside of my heart, I can tell there's something warm inside of me, something so sweet. I've been loving is you. Are you the fire inside my heart? Are you the warm and salty days? I'm coming your way. Closer I get, the more I need you.
You guys are so multi-talented. It's amazing. Like I could just sit back and just let you go a lot longer. So thank you. Thank you. Okay. I was going to also give you permission. So some of their sacred songs, like the one they did the reprise of after Diana's beautiful prayer and reflection for us, that it doesn't seem appropriate to clap because it's just you want to settle into energy, but you want to acknowledge them in some ways. So you can just do just a little, send them a little energy, just send them a little energy, you know, but and then you stay in that and you're going to take it in. That's right. So, oh, what a blessing it is here. It's so beautiful right now. You can feel the fall in the air. Things are changing. Leaves change so slowly here compared to other areas of the country. And yet that's fun to have this slow fall that comes in. And Halloween is around the corner. And last year, Michelle and I, you know, we don't have any young kids. It was just us two at the house now. So it came October 31st and it was getting dark and there was a knock at the door and I go, oh no, I didn't buy any candy. Michelle jumped down and hid behind the couch. I was the man. I was going to get out and I opened the door and I said, gosh, you know, they're cute little kids. They're always the little ones, right? Little darling. And they, you know, trick or treat. I go, I forgot to buy candy this year. And one of the kids, about 5, looks at me and he turns around. His dad's out on the sidewalk and goes, he forgot to buy candy this year. So this year, I'm going to buy candy. But there's an art to buying candy because you don't want to buy it too early. Why don't you know this, right? Why don't you buy it too early? You'll eat it. That's right. So there's an art to it. You can't buy it just yet. Closer to the time, I'll do that. You know, I used to buy candy that maybe I didn't like, but then the kids didn't like it. That's no fun. So so I'm going to be prepared this year. And this is a new month for our theme as well. So we are, this month is Living Everyday Abundance. And we're continuing to turn the wheel around this theme we have. Last month was about thinking globally and acting locally. And this month is October as we head into the fall and even the winter months and everyday abundance. And I love this thought because we are in this abundant universe. And as we tap into this abundant universe, we can have all the prosperity and the joy and the love that we can experience. And today, the first week of it, we are talking about swimming in the infinite ocean. And as we can imagine this infinite universe, or if you want to imagine the stars and the planets that are around us, it is an infinite universe. And we can experience this as we go within. We can experience this infinite nature, this unlimited possibility, this unlimited potential. Now, in the real world, just like the ocean is struggling right now with life, with the corals and the life, sometimes we can experience a lack. And we can always find that abundance within. We can always go in and find this greater truth of who we are. And to be aware of this abundance, be aware of this prosperity within, then we can create it in our lives in every way. So this month I'll be directly talking about money. And it's interesting because when churches talk about money, some people just kind of go, oh, I'm not sure about that. And I understand that because there have been churches who have abused money. There are churches who put guilt and shame on giving. We don't do any of that. I mean, there are churches that actually, one denomination I know in particular asks for people's tax returns and makes them give 10% of their income. This is not, we want you to be at will, and we want the giving to be at choice and from a place of love, from a place of gratitude. And in truth, when we talk about money here, when we talk about the cards of intention and prosperity, it's no different than, say, PBS or nonprofits like Jameson Animal Rescue or the Food Bank talk about it. Perhaps what they do is more tangible in terms of programming, in terms of animal rescue, in terms of feeding those who have food insecurity. And yet our work is our vision and mission. So when you give to the center, you're not giving to God, you're giving from God to that which is for our vision and mission. And I appreciate it. You're feeding that vision and mission. And what I believe is the more we are conscious, mindful of our money, it becomes like a conscious thing we do in all of life. It's not like you have this part that's about your financial and then all the rest of your life. It's all one life. There's only one God, one knowing. What I do know is that sometimes that flow of abundance and prosperity in our lives can become stagnant. I don't know if you got my email this week, but I talked about how I was by the Napa Creek. And if you look over the railing today and look down into the Napa Creek, you can see it's kind of stagnant this time of year. There's plants growing in it. Sometimes you'll see, there was recently a river cleanup, so it's maybe not as bad, but sometimes you can see like old tires and shopping carts in there and trash and different things that clog it up. So if we're not mindful of our relationship with money, then that can get clogged up sometimes. It'd be constricted. And there are times that we have less flow in our lives, and sometimes we have more flow in our lives. And it's still the same spirit that we have within us, no matter what that flow is, what our experience of money and prosperity is at the time. I do believe the more we are mindful of it, the more we can allow the metaphor of the river to flow, to remove the clogs, remember old beliefs, old ways of doing things. So we allow that flow to come through, that opens up the channels within us. And I say there's no, like, if we have a stoppage of the flow financially, it's a stoppage of flow in all aspects of our spirituality. It's not like there's a separate part of ourselves. We are all one. It is all one spirituality. We're talking about one flow within us. It's interesting, they do call it currency. So it has a current. And yet what I know about money is it's neutral. There's no power of it. It's only the power or the energy we give to it. And I know it can be used for good. And it can be used in greedy ways. I think of my own life when there's times when I've had less flow of money in my life. I sometimes feel afraid and almost constricted. And when things are flowing better, I feel opened up and open-hearted. So what I've decided as a commitment to myself is to keep this open heart, even when things seem to be in a lack. So I can make sure that I'm being open to the possibility of flow, of greater abundance, greater prosperity. And what's interesting, this is universal for everybody. It's even portrayed in literature. If you think about It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Potter, or the Christmas Carol with Scrooge, they're all huddled over their money, and they're doing like this. They're very miserly. And not until they have their breakthrough, their transformation, do they open up. And a lot of emphasis on giving as their transformation. But the truth is, we can have a conscious relationship money in receiving and giving. That's the idea of the law of circulation. So we're mindful of it in giving, and we're mindful of it in receiving. In my own giving, I noticed that, like at the beginning of the year, Michelle and I changed bank accounts, and we do cards of intention every year. And we personally do it based on 10% of our income because I believe that is something that opens up. Everybody else can decide what you choose, whether it's a percentage or a set amount. But I do believe in tithing. I do believe in the 10% of that because for me, that works. I found that works. But at the beginning of the year, we had changed banks and it took a while to get all the automatic payments and things transferred over to a different account. And so there was a couple of months there at the beginning of the year that I wasn't giving because I didn't know where the money was to give from. And then I go, okay, I got to catch up now. And it's sort of a franticness. I was writing checks and not being conscious of my giving. And in a meditation, I had this sense of that my abundance, my prosperity was like a lake. And there were many sources that water was coming in, but there was no outlet. So the lake was just filling up and overflowing to the sides. And so I consciously chose that when giving, I was more conscious about it, making sure I was giving from God, not just trying to catch up on something or some obligation I felt. And that's the key to giving, I think, is being conscious in what we do. Think of another example I have about money is somebody who gets money quickly, say a professional athlete or a musician or an actor or actress or somebody that wins the lottery. They get this money really quickly, and if they don't have the consciousness to hold it, the container to hold it, they often go through it very quickly. So this is this consciousness that we are developing that is an abundance of prosperity that even when we don't have much in our bank account or we might be struggling to pay bills, we still can hold a greater abundance, a greater truth, this infinite ocean that's available to us, and we experience this, and we know that it will begin the flow, that will begin a greater abundance, a greater prosperity in our life, just like all things. That's how spirituality works. We experience within, the heaven within, and so above, so below, it creates that which is in our lives. So I encourage us all over the next month to consciously, mindfully think about stepping, just noticing the flow of money, the flow of prosperity in our lives, and notice if there's any fear or any old beliefs, and just choose to be in the freedom of life. Now, I know that's easier said than done. I know there's times that flow just is not happening. And I still encourage you to be present with that which is within you. So I think that's the first thing as we step into the freedom of our prosperity is to pay attention. This is the flow I saw in the creek there, just all stopped up in that. But to pay attention. Now, I like this particularly slide because it shows money growing in soil. I know it doesn't do it that way, but I think it's paying attention to the flow of both receiving and growing and allowing, not just how much money you have in the account, but notice how, or if someone buys you lunch, if someone offers you, gives you a gift of some kind, how do you receive that? How do you give gifts to other people? Is it an obligation? Oh, so-and-so birthday's coming up. I got to get them a card in the mail. I got to get this done. Or is it out of love that you do that? So just notice and pay attention to the way you pay bills, to the way you handle your budget or your investments. It's not a separate part of yourself. It's all one. And notice if there's any constriction or fear or anxiety around that, or if you're open to that and open to connecting. I'm rereading the book Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. She's a Northern California author and a teacher. And she has a great quote in her book as I was reading it by Mark Kinney. It says, "Money is like an iron ring we put around our nose. It is now leading us around wherever it wants. And we just forget that we are the ones who installed it in our nose." She goes on to say that most of us, this relationship with money is a deeply conflicted one, and our behavior with and around money is often at odds with our most deeply held values, commitments, and ideals. And Lynn, in fact, had her own experience of this, and that's why she can write about it so clearly. Her and her husband, Bill, he was in a business that started getting a lot of money, and they became very wealthy very quickly. And so they had the affluence, and they are a prime example of what PBS did a series a few years ago about affluenza, not influenza, but affluenza, where you are constantly spending money. The more money you have, the more money you spend, and you're not really conscious of thinking about it. And they were making so much money, they were spending money on luxury dining, trips, excursions, fine wine, and enjoying the good life, so to speak. But they also found that they were spending less time with their children. They were hiring nannies and not really living. And somebody came up to her and was talking about the Hunger Project. And it was their mission and vision was to end hunger on earth. And it touched something deep in her. When she was young, she was so sad to think about people that were hungry in the world, and it reawakened her empathy around that. And she began to get involved in it. And the more she got involved, she realized that she was living asleep in so many ways in her life, and her wakened up, and her husband and their partners began using their money towards good things. They built a school for single mothers that were struggling, and that they could send their kids to the school, and it had a daycare attached to it because they knew how important that was. They began to get involved in the Hunger Project. She began being a fundraiser for them, and using their connections with wealthy people, she raised over $120 million for the Hunger Project. And she would always tell people at these events she had is show up with your checkbook. And they did. And they did. And she also, during that time in her travels to different areas where the money from the Hunger Project was going, she went to South America and saw the devastation of the rainforest. This was in the mid 90s. And she also started something called the Pachamama Alliance, which does education and support around making sure the rainforest is continuing, and putting money into that, and making sure people are aware of that. And so we continue to pay attention like Lynn did. And she talked about how her life began to shift, and she became more aware spiritually, more aware of her own self, and making connections with people, that knowing that money itself doesn't have power, but she could use it for good. So the other thing that's important, that in this process to become more mindful about our money, is to change. When we change our thinking, we can change our prosperity. You probably heard the phrase, change your thinking, change your life. Well, you can also change your prosperity. To look at our beliefs, and even look at common phrases like that probably have some sense of belief in you still, like money is the root of all evil. Well, we know money itself doesn't have the power. It's not the root itself. Money is actually sourced in the divine, like all things. So what if we reframed these ideas that our source is not something that has power over us, but something that we give our power willingly, that our divine within us and around us is the source of our prosperity? What about the phrase that money can't grow on trees? Well, yes, money can't grow on trees, but the seeds we plant now of abundance and prosperity will grow into trees that will nurture us and feed other organizations and things that we do. that we allow. Last week I was talking about prayer, and I was saying we don't pray to God, we pray from God. And the same is in our giving. We don't give to God, but we can give from God. And we pray for something, and we can give for something, that which we want to see grow, that which we want to continue in our lives, that we allow this. What we know is in our neural pathways in our brain, that which we fire together, that which is our intention, it wires together and it creates neural pathways that fire together and wire together and then gives this sense of gratitude and love and joy is the truth. I know in prayer and in my giving, I don't always get what I'm looking for, but I always get what I'm looking from, what I'm praying from, what I'm giving from, and this greater truth and power of who we are and what it is. I also know that the truth of life is we can create more flow in our lives. We can allow more flow. Think of it as a dam that holds back water, but they allow a certain amount of water to keep that river flowing, and they can adjust how much flow comes out depending on how much water is needed or depending on how full the reservoir is. So we can do that too. We can open up and allow more prosperity in our lives by opening up our heart, opening up our soul to a greater experience. I'm sure you've heard of the law of attraction. There's also a law of allowance. The law of allowance is about accepting what is right now and then allowing more. You accept what is the truth right now, and it's about co-creating with spirit. It's not pushing or pulling or making anything happen. It's allowing it to come forth. It's allowing this flow to be. And that when we let go, when we let go of our beliefs or our old ways of thinking or our fear, then that is creating more space, more channel, more openness for this flow to happen. So we continue to pay attention. We continue to be mindful and change any thinking we need to do, or opening our heart and allowing more flow to come through us, and we can experience this greater wealth. What I know about prayer and what I know about all of this spirituality that is prosperity also is that when we know this within us, we know our wealth and abundance and the goodness within us, that when we pray from that, we create. So the practitioners and I this week have been praying for those affected by the hurricane. So sad. So instead of being sympathetic, even though I'm empathetic, I'm concerned about them, but I know my prayers can't be about sympathy, but I can know divine order within me. I know restoration. I know this peace within me. And when I can know that, I can know it for all people. I can know the truth of them. And I know that about abundance in my life too. Somebody that is either myself or somebody else, if they're seeking greater abundance, I can know that abundance within me, and I can know it for someone else. So let us go to prayer in this moment. So in this moment, what I know is that we are one with all that is and will always be. And within me, within all of us gathered here, there is a peace. There is a divine order. There's divine right action. There is an abundance, a prosperity, an infinite knowingness, as we just allow ourselves to experience that. And we know for all those people in Florida and the eastern seaboard that have been affected by this hurricane, that there's divine order being reestablished in their life. There's a divine right action happening. There's a harmony and a peace and a restoration, that all their basic needs are met. And they're finding, knowing the pathway, being guided towards that which is their highest and best. And we know this to be the truth. And we know for our own selves this abundance and this prosperity within us, that is true for ourselves and it's true for everybody here. It's true for the people in Florida and on the eastern seaboard. It's true for all people on this planet. I know this to be the truth, and I simply release it into the law and love, knowing it is so already. And together we say, and so it is.
I got a new perception of all these things I'm reading now. It's time for application. Application. I got a new life. New life. Well, new life. Got a new life. Yeah. Well, I read the autobiography of a yogi. It fell down on the floor in the library. It means he wants me to read it. He said, if your life ain't going the way that you want it, here's a couple of steps so you can change it. Step inside to your good eye in a quiet mind. Feel alive. Send out peaceful vibes, let compassion rise, wrap yourself in love. Feel love, feel love. Step inside to your third eye. In a quiet mind, feel the light. Send out peaceful vibes, let compassion rise, wrap yourself in love.
That's the time when to clap, right? Marvelous. Love it. Love it. Great. Great. I just wanted to remind you that these cards, I set these out earlier for you. They're just to write notes for the balloon basket, visions you have, things that you would love to see our center do over the next 5 to 10 years, your greatest dream, your greatest imagination, your greatest joy that you see coming through the center. So just that's there for you to write down. Even if you wrote something a couple weeks ago when we had these out, feel free to write more. And as many as you want to. There's a little table set up for that. This is the time in our service when we invite you to be part of our law of circulation, the giving and receiving in a conscious, mindful way. We appreciate you being a part of this, whether you are doing it online, giving, or you're sending us money, or you are providing money today that you're giving to the baskets. We appreciate it in all the ways that you give. If I could ask the ushers to come up, please. And we just take that which we're giving from Spirit and placing it over our hearts. And repeat with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate, and so it is. Thank you.
I just want to thank you for all you bring to me. I just want to thank you. Your love set me free. Yeah, I just want to thank you. For all you bring to me. I just want to thank you. Your love set me free. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Your love has set me free.
Yeah. This is also the time. It's the first of the month. That means it's our usual welcome to new people. Yes. Anybody here for the first time? Raise your hand or make a comment online. We'd appreciate it. We're so glad you're with us today. Careful about raising your arms. Yes. Yeah, we're getting there. If this also first of the month where we invite you, if you have a birthday in October, to raise your hand. I know we have a lot of October birthdays, so it's great. Right. I know it's Virgo starting, but mostly it's all Libra, right? Libra, yeah. So and Scorpio. Michelle Wilson, yeah, and my Michelle too. So it's a big month. So it's good. So we and then any anniversaries we have during the October? How many years?
22. Well, married. We lived together.
What year is it?
No.
17.
With his mom
17.
and kids.
17. Okay.
17 years.
You know, I've always heard the most important thing is knowing when you were married, not necessarily how long. So if you got to keep up with that, you're in good shape. So
have to know what it is now.
yeah, that's right. Any other anniversaries? Oh, yes. How many years? 12 for Brad and Kathy. That's awesome. What? They did? You did? Oh, beautiful. Great. And we also celebrate, obviously it's anonymous, but if you have a recovery birthday, we also want to acknowledge you. And we know that's a hard path. And we can just bless you on your path if it happens to be that kind of anniversary for you. So we raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. So let's all stand for the community affirmation. Join me about noon. I'll spend a few minutes out front, but then I'll go in the back for our circle. And then fill out the cards if you still feel so moved, and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful.
I am led by spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is. Let us go in peace and let us go in prosperity. And so it is.
I just wanna thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, yeah. Come on, come on, come on.
Maybe notice I had a haircut. And she cuts her own. Well, I see her.
Welcome to the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. We are a vibrant, inclusive, and spiritual community that seeks to live intentionally, love unconditionally, and see God in all people and in all faiths. We believe the work we do in prayer and in the community creates a world that works for all cultures, races, orientations, and faiths. For over 60 years, we have practiced thinking globally and acting locally to help awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Annually, hundreds of people actively participate in our services, classes, events, and in our Spanish-speaking ministry. And we are training the next generation of spiritual leadership in our ministerial school. In the last few years, because of apparent divisions politically and socially, and because of threats to basic human rights, we have magnified our application of Science of Mind principles with engagement and compassion in action in the greater Napa Valley community. Our members have participated in women's marches, pride events, and we have hosted speakers on racial issues. We have empowered and mentored diverse leaders in our community and given scholarships to diverse ministerial students. We have donated over 4,000 pounds of food to our local food bank. Our spiritual director, Reverend Jay Lang, has facilitated an interfaith leadership group to hold public prayer vigils and 9/11 commemorations in participation with Jews, Muslims, and Christians. We have fostered the creation of a beloved community in the larger Napa Valley area by honoring community heroes at events and tithing to and partnering with a dozen different nonprofits that share our vision. Together, we've created a Martin Luther King Day of Service where over 1,200 participated in community service annually. The leadership of our parent organization, the Centers for Spiritual Living, headquartered in Golden, Colorado, recognized our community for all of the outstanding, compassionate work we've been doing over the last few years with the 2022 Meritorious Community Award. As we move forward to do this work of the heart, to awaken the world to its spiritual magnificence, will you join us as we continue to ascend to new heights and create a world that works for everyone?